bonus vid.
Greetings, friends. 'Tis I, Wraith King, and welcome to the Dark Kingdom. I have a lot to say about what has happened recently with this game. A lot has happened, and I'll be going over a lot of the things that I have heard about, including the new character that's being added to the game. But that's not really what's going to be said in this video entirely. It's not like the focus of the subject, so I'll just get it out the way really quick. In case you are curious, they are adding another character. It's not confirmed who it is, but they are adding someone else. But what the whole point of this video is, not only have you guys just blown up like those last videos, like seriously, you guys have been spamming that like button, you've been sharing my videos, you've been very friendly about this whole situation, and thank you. I appreciate the like, I appreciate the shares, and hey, if we can do that again, we can get this above 10 likes, I'll make another video on this. Why not? I'll talk about it some more. I'll suffer a little bit more for you guys. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be having gameplay because I made a promise to myself that I would not download this game again and just not give these developers any support. So, if there is some different gameplay in the background that is not Action Taimanin, you guys know why. Okay, what's new this time? Well, I want to be as mature about this as I possibly can and professional. I don't want to sound rude or inappropriate in any way, although this is a frustrating thing, don't get me wrong. This is something that's they themselves have done was unprofessional and cruel. And calling it cruel is, I don't want to sound like they're bullying me or anything, or bullying anyone else. They're doing this out of business. They are trying their best to cover up what is going on in this scenario. And I think this, yes, it is unprofessional, but we also have to think about who we're dealing with here and what type of people are developing this game and what their intentions are. And their intentions aren't entirely hurting my feelings or your feelings. Their intentions are making money. And whether that hurts our feelings or not is kind of not really their point, not their motive. It's the same thing that goes on with a lot of the movies that are released today. Some of them are very by the books, by the numbers. Whenever you see a movie that's just like your typical superhero movie or your typical horror movie, those people make those movies not because they have a passion, but because they want to make money off of a specific property, and they want to keep it going. Although some of those movies have heart, and there's someone who is working on them who truly does care about the property, but deep down, there's always going to be those people that don't really care. They just want to make money, and those are usually the people at the top. And that's kind of what's happening here. Now, I don't know about the game developers themselves, like the people who created this game. I'm not sure. The people who have, created the assets, wrote the story, the writers, but the people who are funding this game, who have created it through the more important means, like the economic way, like money and things like that, they're in charge of it. And when it comes to monetization, they have the say. So blaming this on the game developers specifically, I don't think is appropriate. And I have said that in a few of my other videos where I said, oh, it's the game developers. Not entirely true. I disagree with myself there. Apologies for saying that, but I know it's easy to say, so I won't make it look like I was picking on them in any way or pointing any fingers, because it's a very easy thing to say, oh, it's the game developers, because technically it is. So I'll just say that it is kind of, they are a part of the game development team, whoever's working on the monetization, but it's not the people who actually have a passion for this game, who actually wanted to make a game based off of this universe, who wanted to create this idea and this concept and wanted to create it with love and care. It's not so much as their fault as it is the monetization department and the people who are truly in charge of this game. They're the ones that created this this debacle, this decision, and the decision to delete comments on Google Play, which is what I was going to get into in the first place, along with what I've just told you. Yeah, they have been deleting comments. Now, how do I know this? Well, they've been deleting mine. I'd say at least 8 or 9 times now they have deleted my comment, and sometimes I would leave a completely different one and it would still get deleted. If I would leave any type of comment at all, it would just get deleted. And this happens on Google Play. There are a few game developers that did this in the past to eliminate negative feedback surrounding specific subjects, or just to keep their overall score of the game in a specific area. Now, in this case, I truly do believe. Now, this is just from what I think. This is don't treat this as fact. It's more theory. Everything I'm telling you, as far as why I believe they're deleting my comments, is just pure theory. I think they're trying their best to keep their game in this 4.0 range, because as of right now, what I have seen is much less ads of their game. The game is losing popularity very quickly. People are deleting it. All their social medias are just flooded with memes about Anaros, and the few people who have left positive feedback seem to be the people who are, I hate to use this term, whales. I really hate using that term because I feel like it's just offending someone who more or less treats this game as a hobby. And I don't really want to treat these people as just these mindless spenders, because whenever I hear someone being called a whale or something like that, it has less to do with the relation of the creature, but more of its size and the fact that whales eat they take in a whole bunch of water just to consume a very small creature, which is usually like plankton or something like that. And that's why I believe they were called whales in the first place, is because that's exactly what these people do. They take in all of this, do all of this work just to consume something very small, and in turn, it's to them, it satiates their hunger, but to everybody else, they're just doing all this work. They're just taking up all of this water when I'm just trying to do one thing here. And I think that's essentially why they're called whales. But I don't really like using that term because I feel like it's offensive to people, and most of these people just find a hobby out of this game. So let me just say, these people are heavy spenders. They love this game dearly, and they just want to support it because they have this passion for it. And I hate to use this, say it like this, but you are a part of the problem if you continue to support this game. I know you have a passion for it, and trust me, I'm a fan of many video games, actually. I collect action figures from different films, and specifically like the high-budget horror films. I collect a lot of the Alien figures. I have loads of them, actually, loads of the Alien figures. I actually have a couple of the Predators, even from some of the bad movies. I have some figures of the Predators, and as well as some figurines from games like Gears of War. I have the original General Ram action figure. I am a geek, okay? I get it. There are some things you really enjoy to do, you really enjoy spending on, and there is this disconnect when you see someone else complaining about something you love. You're like, well, I love this game, or I love this property. I want to buy stuff from it because I love it. It's something I want to do, something I would like to spend my money on. And you know what? I get it. Like I told you guys, I'm a geek. I do the same thing. I buy super expensive figures for the sake of just the item itself, because I just love those things. I love my General Ram action figure. I love the Cantus I have from Gears of War. And I actually wanted a Boomer from Gears of War as well. You know those really big guys? I want to get one of those guys, but they're over $100. But you know what? I don't care. I want it. I said all that to say that I understand why some heavy spenders want to invest their money into this game, because they like it. Just like I like some characters from video games and movies. I love collecting those. I really do. I am going to try to see if I can find Melania from Elden Ring and see if I can get an action figure of her. I'm going to have her sitting on my dresser because I want to do that. No matter how expensive she is, I'm going to save up so I can get her. And I understand the incentive. I understand why you want to do this. But you have to put your foot down. And you have to see how this is affecting the other fans as well. And right now, a lot of people just can't afford this. They may not be as invested into this as you or someone else might be. They may not have the money or time to save up for something like this, because again, this is something they play on the side, unlike some of you out there who might really be a fan of this game right here, who you might be willing to save up money for something big like this, right? Because it's your hobby. Like I'm willing to save up for a Millennia statue. The reason I'm bragging about my General Ram and my Gears of War collection is because I'm trying to give you guys a picture as to why some of these heavy spenders would be defending this game. This is their hobby. They like to spend on it. It's obviously something they're going to continue to do, regardless of how ridiculous the updates might be, regardless of how absurd the developers might be about Action Taimanin in general. They love this property, and they will be spending a lot on it, regardless of the ridiculous price. But the Action Taimanin monetization team wants more of these people. They want more of these heavy spenders in the game, so they could make, well, more money. But the disconnect in this situation is that they don't seem to understand that both the heavy spenders and the people who don't spend a lot are very important to have together in a video game, in any game in general. Heavy spenders do make you a lot of money, but they come in small moderation, and there's not a whole lot of them. The community in every game is dominantly players like you and me, the free-to-play players that might buy something every once in a while, but for the most part, they don't buy much anything in the game. For example, you see this game I'm playing right here and doing terrible at? This is called Paladins. They have a season pass that's $8. This skin I have right here was one of many skins that I get out of this game just for buying that season pass. And you see, since I am not a heavy spender and I do want this season pass, $8 seems reasonable to basically everyone, both the heavy spenders and the people who buy things in more moderations and small, simple transactions like me. And even some of the other bigger things in this game, like the more expensive skins, are still at least like $15 or so. And if you want to buy a lot of them, you can do that as well. But games like Action Taimanin, which are very few and far between, I have to say that, and I don't mean that in any negative way, there's just not too many of those games out there. Not in the adult field, there's plenty of those, but games that make these very small products with big price tags. I've only seen very, very few of those, and those that did exist, I don't really see anymore. But I digress. Since they have these massive price tags, you're not going to see a lot of players like me consistently playing the game. In Action Taimanin, the skins aren't something I can buy in small portions. They're all over $40 or $30 or in that area. That's far too expensive for me as a person who doesn't find himself too invested into video games. Someone who just isn't that interested in spending over to like $20 on a skin in a video game. Things like that just aren't attractive to me in the slightest bit, because first of all, as you can clearly see, I'm not the best gamer. I've never been the best gamer. And I love playing video games, absolutely. But I don't want to spend over what I say is appropriate for something I'm just going to literally sit down and poke at a screen for a few seconds and then walk away. There's no reason I should spend anything over $10 on something like that. And this in itself has higher quality than Action Taimanin, obviously. It's a game that's on PC console. It's very popular, way more popular than Action Taimanin. So you would say that they would have an excuse to have something so expensive like $40 or $50 in the store, right? But the reason this game is the way it is right now, the reason the quality is so great, is because they know it's not an intelligent idea to make something so unbelievably expensive in the shop, because not everybody's going to buy it. Only the heavy spenders are going to purchase that. And since they never really did have anything like that in the shop, to my knowledge, as of playing this game and recording right now, they don't have anything like that in the shop. The only things that are very expensive are just expansions to the game that give you basically every single character, loads of different skins, And I mean it, just all of the characters it just gives you from some of these packs, and they're like, what, $40? And that's like the entire game. You're buying basically the whole game for $40. I'd say that's a decent deal. But in games like Action Taimanin that are, pardon me for saying this, money hungry, they charge you ludicrous prices for things that are very, very tiny, like minute, minuscule. For example, Anaros, she comes with a couple of skins, and I believe there's like a weapon, and then what's essentially just a card, which increases your power in the game by a little bit, and does some weird things. But aside from that, it's not really anything too big. So okay, you got 2 skins, and you got a weapon, and then you got the character. How much is it? $50. $47.99 to be exact. Now compare that to what I just told you. This game is charging you for, like what I said, about $40 for the entire game. The game in its entirety, plus some skins and more cosmetics, gems to buy other cosmetics. And in Action Taimanin, it's giving you 2 cosmetics, a hero, a weapon, and a card. Very, very, just cheap. I don't have any other word to describe that aside from cheap. Paladins is just a better game as far as its monetization is concerned. There are much more intelligent people working in the monetization field. That's why it has survived so darn long. And the reason it has survived for so long is because Hi-Rez, the people who developed this game, understand the difference between heavy spenders and people who don't spend a lot, like me. They understand that those communities need to coexist together. So whenever they make a price tag, whenever there is a product released, it has to be an appropriate price to where anyone can buy it. The season pass on this is not $50. If it was, I wouldn't buy it. My friends wouldn't buy it. No one would buy it. Aside from the heavy spenders who pay a lot of money to play this game and experience it for themselves in their own special way. People like me would stay far away from this game if they started charging $50 for season passes, which is exactly what Action Taimanin would do. Now, moving on from the comparisons of this game and Action Taimanin, you understand why monetization is so important now, don't you? You understand why it has to be kept in small portions and not massive bundles, because you know heavy spenders will stick around, but small spenders like me won't buy it. And the reason Action Taimanin is dying right now isn't just because of Anaros, it's because of the skins too. The skins are pointlessly expensive, very high priced, over $30 for just one skin and a couple of other items you don't give a flying fig about. And to add insult to injury, there's no way you can earn these skins through the game. In Paladins, there are many ways you can earn skins, like the premium skins, even the freaking season pass, just by playing the game. Just log in daily, and then there's quests that come with every season pass that's free to literally everyone who has a controller or a PC. Anyone who can play this game, download it right now because it's free. You can do these quests and just play it and do those quests to get enough resources to buy a skin that you actually want. That's not an Action Taimanin. And I know what you're going to say, oh, this is a high budget game. The reason it's a high budget game is because they know exactly how to monetize it. It's lived for so long because people started small. This game was tiny. There was barely any content in it. But the reason they understood what monetization was, the reason Hi-Rez knows how to monetize their game, is why this game right now is as old as it is because someone knew what the heck they were doing. But in Action Taimanin, there's nothing I can actually pay for. There's nothing you guys, the Dark Kingdom, can actually go over there and say, you know what, I can buy this right now. I can afford $1.99. I can afford $10. There's nothing on there through the cosmetics that you can do that with. And because this is the case, all they got is heavy spenders purchasing things on this game. And those are few and far between. There's not a whole lot of those. And since you've divided the community from this game's release, which was like a year ago? It's going to be on a very slow and steady decline because there's no players like me who are buying anything. Before the whole Anaros debacle was a thing, I was looking for something to buy. No joke. And I was gonna make a video about it. I was looking for something I could afford, and I couldn't find anything. And before you say, oh, you can't afford it, well, that's too bad. Get a job. Didn't I just tell you that I have a collection of video game toys and movie figures that's worth hundreds of dollars at this point? I can afford it. I just don't want to waste my money on something I don't invest my time into. I don't want to save up for Action Taimanin. I'm not a heavy spender on the game. I don't care about it that much. If I did, yeah, sure, I would save up things for it like that. But I'm just not going to spend money on a game I'm just not that heavily invested into. That's just how it is. These people who don't want to buy this product, it's not that they can't, it's just that they don't want to. Let me give you another example, and then I'm going to end my video here. Alright, you go to Comic-Con, right? Well, some of you do. You see all of those people with the really cool looking outfits, right? You see all of them dressed in those awesome, this detailed outfits, whether it be like, I wanted to be Pyramid Head one day because I'm a big fan of the Silent Hill series, so I was going to be Pyramid Head. I was going to make my own outfit. You see, I'm dedicated to the series, so I'm going to do that. I'm one of those big fans. But then there's some of my friends who don't want to dress up. There's people who don't want to dress up for Comic-Con. There's people who don't want to do these things. And you know what? That's fine, because they're still going to go to the Comic-Con. They're still going to buy things from the stands. They're still going to get those action figures. They're still going to buy the comic books. And there's going to be people who get their role models to sign their hat or whatever. There's going to be that audience as well. So you have people like me who are just strongly dedicated to their favorite franchise or their favorite comic book, movie, or whatever, that dress up like this. That's the heavy spenders. And then you have the people who buy things in small moderations but are still good fans. They still play the games, they still read the comics, so on and so forth, but they're just not as dedicated as me. Those are the two groups of people that visit Comic-Con. Those are the people. And they all buy things. Every last one of them buy things. But okay, this is what Action Taimanin would do. They would make it to where everything is super expensive and only the heavy spenders that are dedicated to the franchises would actually ever buy them. And then that means you have the people who aren't really heavily invested into the series, who aren't really focused on the product, who aren't really saving up hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest into their hobby, who aren't there to do that, but are just there to enjoy it and buy things every once in a while. Those people you're going to scare away, because they're not here to be heavy spenders. They're here to enjoy what's here. They're here to enjoy the product. They're here to buy things every once in a while, sure, but they're not here to be a heavy spender like I might be or my friends. So you separate these people from the heavy spenders, and then what's going to happen? You're going to lose money because you scared half of the community who would buy something. You scared them away, and now you just have some people who would buy something. You see where I'm going with this? This is what Action Taimanin is doing. They're dividing the heavy spenders away from the people who are small spenders. And of course, small spenders do make up the majority of the community, as they always do. Even when you go to a Comic-Con, you're going to see more people who don't dress up a whole lot than you would people who do dress up a ton. Not everybody's going to be dedicated enough to do that. But according to the Action Taimanin developers, well, you'd better be dedicated enough to spend all this time and money on this game, or else you're just not going to be able to experience it like everybody else who's a heavy spender can. That's not how a good gameplay loop should work. That's not how a game should work. Paladins is only alive because they understand that. They understand that both the small spenders and the heavy spenders, there is a balance between them. And keeping purchases in small portions is a very, very, first of all, it's a very effective way to make money. Like, it's probably the most effective way to make money with microtransactions in general, because they're small. And the smaller it is, the more likely people would be able to spam them. Another fun example of this is Black Friday. People spend more on Black Friday than they do any other shopping spree. You want to know why? Because everything is cheap and affordable. When they see something is affordable, they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to save up for Black Friday so I can buy a PlayStation 5, I can buy an Xbox X1, whatever the heck the one's called. I can buy that, I can buy God of War, I can buy all these darn games, heck, I can buy a PC because it's all on sale. I'm going to say that's a lot of money right there, yeah? But the reason they're doing that is because everything is a small price. That's just how the world works, man. That's just how people spend their money. That's how this industry has worked for hundreds of years at this point. Making something cheap, putting a big on sale sign, and making it actually affordable will get people to buy it. But for some reason, in Action Taimanin, they think it's a great idea to make everything super expensive, just making the game basically unsupportable for players like me who just don't spend a whole lot of time or energy trying to play this game. Like, I will never spend over $10 on a mobile game. I'm sorry. The only time I'll spend at least $20 is if it's like in this massive pack that gives me a whole lot of stuff, like a ton of it. This is actually another reason why you don't want to make anything over $20 in a mobile game. Most of you probably already know this, but I'm going to make this quick because I don't want this video to be over 30 minutes. Mobile games have a limited lifespan. They all do. I don't care if you love the game to death. They have a limited lifespan. So whenever somebody spends money on a mobile game, you have to keep that in mind, that this has a limited lifespan. Because there's so many darn mobile games, because they're being released basically every day at this point, there is no way that your game is going to last forever. That's just how it works. Some of these console games, I'm starting to believe it might be a possibility. Some of these PC and console exclusives, I am starting to believe that forever might be possible for some of these, because, well, they're console games. They're not released all the time. Sometimes there's only one or two of them. But since the mobile gaming market is so freaking massive, the lifespan of these games is going to be very short, and it's been that way for a long time. Some of my favorite mobile games, the ones I love dearly, that are actually really, really good, have died now. The lot of them anyway. The ones I played on my way out of high school 10 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long. But the ones I've played on my way out of there, most of them are dead. The only one that's still around is Seven Nights, because that game just seems to be invincible. And the reason they are is, well, they've been doing what I just told you. They keep their monetization in small portions. They don't charge people massive amounts of money for one darn thing. They keep it in small portions. You want to buy a skin? The skins in that game are like, what, $5, $10? You want to buy a border for your icon? $3. You want to get the new character? Well, you can just get them from the summon or play an event to get them. That's how it's always been in Seven Nights. It is the most gacha game of all gachas, and it does it so darn well. That's why the game is around, because it knows, again, not to separate the heavy spenders from the small spenders. It keeps their microtransactions. It's just that. Micro, tiny, spammable. But no, and Action Taimanin, they don't want to do that. They think their game should be consisting of only heavy spenders, and because that's a thing, your game's dying now. And I'm pretty sure you all can see it, that it is on a steady decline, which does suck. You know, like I said, this game has been giving me content, and if they ever do make Anaros free, I'll make a video about it. Yeah, sure. And especially if you guys spam that like button like you've been doing for the past few bonus videos. Funny thing is, I don't do any editing on this. I just throw my little flame gif that I have at the bottom of the screen and then just call it a day. Just throw my cool chill overlay on the video as well, get my chill music going, and you guys just spam that like button like crazy on these darn videos. Thank you so much for supporting this series like this. But yeah, if you want more Action Taimanin coverage, I guess just keep doing what you're doing. Like, share the video. But yeah, this is what I think about Action Taimanin, and they've been deleting comments on Google Play because, yeah, they just want to keep their, they want to keep it above the 4.0 range on Google Play. So I'm not surprised that they are deleting comments. A couple of the ones they have kept are old, like from a month or so ago. But for the most part, most of the comments have been deleted, and especially mine. Every time I try to leave a new comment, they just go ahead and delete it. But yeah, that's all I have time for. It already reached 30 minutes, my goodness. This video went on for far too long. But you know what, hey, it was fun making this. It was fun talking about this again. If you want me to talk more about it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you too can be a part of the Dark Kingdom. Take it easy for me, and please do have a blessed day. I'm gonna have to talk about this game again, aren't I?